Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name's Jeremy, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Tactical Suit Batman by Hot Toys from the Justice League movie. Alright guys, here he is. Now the first thing I want to say is I'm actually shooting this video on my iPhone X, and I know the lens isn't capturing what I'm seeing in person. He actually looks a lot bigger and bulkier in person than he is on my phone. So I do apologize about that. I am working on getting an actual camera that will actually capture these figures, the way that they should be presented. But anyways, my initial reaction to him at first was I was not impressed. I'm sure like a lot of you saw some of those photos and they just looked awful. And when I got him, he looked just as bad in those photos as he did in person. Now the reason for that was, one, I'm not used to really messing with Hot Toys all that much. I do have them, but 9 times out of 10, they just look good right out of the box. You don't really have to mess with anything. He was that exception to the rule. I actually had to mess with him for probably a good 30-40 minutes trying to get his armor to sit right, the pose right, his arms, his legs, everything. When I took him out of the box, he couldn't even stand up on his own at all. He kept leaning over. The armor was all messed up. It didn't look proportionate. He looked really, really awkward for some reason. And a big part of it was these the shoulder pads here. They actually had them all the way to the side, and it just completely threw off the look. I was not happy with it. I actually left them alone for like a day or two. Saw some other pictures on Facebook of some other people, watched a couple other YouTube videos on them. And that was actually what helped me out, figuring out that I really needed to change how I had these, mess with the arms a little bit. The other issue I had with this one was that this armor piece right here wasn't formed fit to the leg nearly as good as this one. Like, it was sticking out pretty bad. The trick that I had to do with that one, let me see if I could scoot it down a little bit, was these straps here on his leg, they weren't matching up. This one was like way down under here. This one was way up here. So I had to mess with it. So that means I had to mess with the knee pads, because the knee pads actually have like a strap. So I had to adjust the knee pads, put it over his like shin guards, adjust that one, scoot this one down, scoot this one up. I had to mess with it for quite a bit to get it to actually look somewhat parallel to each other. And obviously the belt, you can move it slightly. Nothing crazy. Or at least nothing too crazy that I'm willing to try. And then, like I said, the biggest thing to me was these shoulder pads. And like I said, on my phone, it's not capturing how wide he looks. He looks really big and bulky. And after messing with him, I absolutely love this figure. He's not perfect. There's several issues with him still. Stuff still doesn't fit right. He's still a little awkward to pose. But I am actually really happy with him. I do have the Nightmare Ben Affleck Batman, and that's the only one. I don't have any of the regular suits from Dawn of Justice or the Suicide Squad one or anything. So to actually get one like this, I'm actually really happy with it. I know a lot of people didn't like the cowl from the movie. They liked that thicker neck one, and to be honest, I actually hated that one. I actually much prefer this one that you're seeing here in front of you. And I mean, the likeness is just dead on. I think it actually looks like Ben Affleck. And the cape on this one sits really nicely. The cape obviously isn't perfect. I'm sure there's some custom capes out there, or at least they're probably working on them. But it actually fits really nicely. I really like how it drapes over his shoulders nicely. Sorry, trying to mess with the cape a little bit. Got distracted. But let me zoom out. Show you the figure a little bit better. Okay, so here he is, on the base, zoomed out, so you kind of see the full figure. And then turn him to the side for you, so you get a decent look. Now his neck doesn't really move that much. You actually have to kind of move the whole cowl. There's not a seam or anything here. So when you try to move him, the whole cowl moves up and down from these sides here. So it's kind of hard to get him to lean down, and I think that what makes him look a little bit more intimidating when he's actually leaning down. And then here's the cape. It's a pretty nice cape, decent. It's better than some of the Michael Keaton ones that I have out. Definitely it flows better, it fits a little bit better, moves better. So I think they did a pretty decent job with the cape. And then here is his left side. And then obviously back to the front. So let me get some close-ups for you. So I really like how they did the armor all around for him. I think it's really well done. The detail on the armor, the scratches and the straps and everything, I think they just did a really good job. The different textures of it. Let me show you some of his gauntlets. I don't want to zoom in on his junk. And the belt. Man, I don't know, I really like how they did his armor. Like it's already been battled and damaged and everything. Especially this chest piece armor. It looks insane. And I apologize if my hands are shaking a little bit too much. I have the ring light in front of me, so I'm doing this from behind the ring light, so my little bit shaky, so I apologize. I heard some people say he had a pencil neck. Doesn't really bother me all that much. Like I said, I don't know, maybe they're used to the thicker cowl, but I think it looks great. I don't have any issues with it. I don't think it looks disproportionate or anything. Man, I really like how they did the armor in the front. I think it looks freaking awesome. Alright, and here is the back of the cape. And you can see a lot of the different textures in it. It's almost like it has like scratches in it or something. It kind of has this, I don't know, there's definitely like a feel. It's not smooth. There's definitely like a texture to it. But it does move pretty nicely. And then here is the back of his cowl. Crazy amount of detail they put into it. Let me turn him a little bit so you can see the side a little bit better. Sorry, there we go. Man, the detail is just insane on him. Kind of see the strap right here underneath the cape a little bit. And then he does come with the goggles that rise, on his forehead, to kind of, sit on his head, and then the ones where you're actually wearing them. And to change those out, you just actually just pop these out, if I can get it. And then you just plug them right on. Plug them right on in. And since this one is the deluxe edition, he does come with the mother box. And then obviously he comes with 2 different face plates and then a different set of eyes. 2 sets of eyes. And I have no idea what's going on with the one on the right side. Those look really weird. And then his accessories, took these out of the packaging because there was too much of a glare. But those you can put in the grapple gun, and I'm thinking this other one is like a hook line. And obviously you got some batarangs, some different attachments. And I want to say they're like bat bombs or maybe smoke bombs or something, and then some extra pegs. So those are the accessories that come with it. And here he is with the glasses on. Like I said earlier, they just connect on the side. So there's that look. Kind of like them with him wearing them on top. There he is with the glasses on. I know when, you know, the movie was coming out and there was images of him, everybody said he looked like Owlman, and they were kind of hating on him, but I actually kind of liked it right from the very beginning. Thought it was something a little bit different, you know, a little bit of its own creative style from Zack Snyder, so I always liked it, which is kind of what drew me into getting this one. Was actually, I really liked the tactical suit Batman from the movie. I liked the design of the suit, I liked the look of it. I went ahead and changed out the I guess the mouth plate, so you kind of get a look of what he looks like wearing that mouth plate on. It actually doesn't look too bad. It's not one that I would have him be, you know, have him wearing, but it's actually not too bad. And let's see if I can take this off without messing anything up. And I will put on the third mouth plate. Oops, sorry, hit the tripod. When you see them off the figure, yeah, they look kind of silly and ridiculous, but when they're actually on him, you know, it doesn't look too bad. This lighting kind of makes him look a little bit like a beaver, but I can assure you it actually doesn't look too bad. And so I really don't mess with them, you know, articulation wise. Man, I couldn't say that. But I normally leave them in a museum pose. If you've seen my my Wonder Woman review, you know, I tell you that I basically leave them in one pose for the most part. I really don't mess with them. One reason is because of fear of messing up the suit. You know, they are pretty expensive, and I don't have the luxury of just buying another one if I mess them up, and I wouldn't want to. So I normally leave them in a museum pose, but to kind of give you just somewhat of an idea, here he is here with his shoulder pads the way I have them. That's kind of as far as I can get his arms to move up, which you might expect. Obviously he does have armor all around his shoulder and his bicep area, so it does restrict. Now if I move them and kind of turn his arms, I might be able to get it up just a little bit more, but not much. And then obviously his arm does move okay. Hear it kind of crunching. It's hard to tell if it's more of his armor moving or his arm. I want to say it's more of his armor. It does seem to turn slightly, but nothing too crazy. You wouldn't really want to mess with it. And then these move, these are pretty loose. These, you kind of just pose them how you want. And then this is as far as I'm willing to try to get him to have his arm straight out. Yeah. And then back, it's kind of as far back as I'm willing to mess with it. Maybe you can get it a little bit more, but I'm not gonna chance it with my figure. So let's try to get him. He is pretty stiff. And then so trying to put him back the way I had him. I mean, tilt the camera down a little bit and see if I can get you some articulation with his legs. So, and he's stuck. He's stuck on that strap. So these are kind of the straps that I was telling you about earlier. You can move them a little bit, especially more on the back side than anything. You got the two straps here, and then this one here is the knee strap. And then this is like his shin guards. Try to give you a good look of that. His ankles move okay. If anything, maybe they might be a little flimsy for how heavy he is, because he is a pretty solid figure. Here is the back. The suit is really nice. The suit's like kind of feels smooth here, and then around his shoulder has a little bit more texture to it. And then there's not really much give to any of these straps here or anything like that. I'm pretty sure somebody will figure out a way to take these off. I won't ever have the need to. But anyways, back to the articulation. So this is kind of, yeah. Actually feels like maybe this one might be popped out a little bit. But there's the articulation. There's his, you know, how wide you could spread his legs. Why you would do it, I have no idea. And then let's bring him back in. Bend the knee. So yeah, I mean his legs move a lot better than his arms, which is a little surprising to me, especially because he has 1, 2, 3 different pieces on his leg, and his movement, well, at least at the knee anyways, maybe I take that back. So his leg, you could probably see it hitting his belt here, and that's as far as I can get it to go up. You could, no, yeah, that's pretty much as far as it's gonna go up. Let's try the other one. Yeah, that is about it. Not really gonna do like the accessories and switch out the hands or anything like that. I'm sorry. There's some really good videos out there where they have him like that. Let me get him back on this stand and I will be right back. Okay, so I wanted to just put these two together real quick so you kind of get a sense of how tall they are. You know, the new Justice League one does seem maybe just a hair taller, not a huge difference, but what does seem to be a pretty big difference, at least to my eyes, is, you know, from shoulder to shoulder. If you look, he does seem to be a pretty big, you know, to be a pretty big difference. He does seem like he's a lot wider. And, you know, certain times my phone doesn't capture just how wide he is, but he is a pretty beefy Batman. So just wanted to give you a quick little comparison of the two. These are the only two Batmans that I have, so unfortunately these are the only two I can show you side by side. And for the final comparison, here he is next to the Wonder Woman. Obviously by the base you can tell that they're both from the Justice League movie. He is a good amount taller than her. I did actually watch the movie to see that he is in fact in the movie taller than her. I know in the comics she's probably supposed to be a lot taller than he is, being an Amazon. But it is movie accurate. He is taller than her in the movie. I did check a couple scenes. But here they are together, you know, on the ramp base. I don't really have any other Hot Toys on pre-order other than the rest of the Justice League. If you see my room tour, you know, I kind of tell you that I normally get these as Christmas gifts. This movie being the exception. I was really, you know, I had high hopes for this movie, even though I guess I probably shouldn't have, since they kind of let me down. But anyways, so I probably won't have any more Hot Toys figures in until the Flash and Aquaman come in, possibly even the regular suit Batman. I haven't decided if I'm going to pull the trigger on him or not, since I have him, and I really do like this one. If you are on the fence about him, I definitely think that you should get him, especially if you're a DC fan. If you're a DC fan, much less a Batman fan, I think you should definitely get him. He is absolutely great in person. You will have to work with him a little bit to get him the way that you want him. Even after I did the articulation for you guys, I spent another maybe 10-15 minutes to getting him to look the way he is now on the stand. And even now, I'm not too happy with him. I feel like he's a little awkward on the stand. But here they are together. Oh, and the other thing I'm not sure about are the mother boxes. Hold on one second. Let me grab it. So, oops, sorry about that. Here is Wonder Woman's mother box. And here is Batman's. Now this is the one I'm not sure about. I don't know if they ever actually show them together in the movie, but as you can see, they are quite a bit different in size. I'll put it a little bit closer for you. So yeah, you get to see them there. But here they are. I am actually looking forward to completing the set. Minus Cyborg. Doesn't seem like we'll ever get the Cyborg, but here you go. So kind of final thoughts on him. Like I said earlier, if you're kind of on the fence or you're not sure if you should get him or not, I say you should get him. He is awesome. He's not perfect. He does have some flaws and some issues you will have to work out, but he really is awesome. I think he's a really, really nice figure. You know, I was almost tempted to send him back when I first got him, because like I said, I was really underwhelmed with him. Wasn't a fan of how he looked out of the box. So, you know, work with him a little bit, mess with the outfit, the costume and everything, and I think you'll be happy with him in the end. But that's pretty much it. If you stayed to the end of this video, I do appreciate it. I will try to be posting videos at least once a week, normally on Fridays. Here in the States, it'll be Fridays. So thank you. If you stayed to the end, you know, thank you very much. And then if you want to keep a lookout for what I have coming, you know, you can hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. Hope you have a good day. See you next time.